Okay, it's Robin the Jonor Stitcher. I have filmed several sequences out of order. I started filming at the end of February, and then it's now March 15th. I had some sinus cold thing going on last week, so I didn't have time, and I had things going on Monday night, and then I skipped my Wednesday night thing because I was sick, so I didn't really have time and energy to film last week. But so I have a winner for the Plum Street Sampler giveaway, and that person is Sally Deem. Oops, Willow's thinking about jumping up here. So Sally Deem, 9327. And I will figure out, Willow's getting in the window. She might be kind of mad at me. She gave me sort of a look. So I think she's gonna try to mess with the houseplants to get my attention. Because I've got everything piled up here, so she can't jump up and have her moment. Yep, no, she's being a good kitty. Okay. Gosh, it's been a cross stitch and willow morning. So, all right. So that is Sally, SALLY DIEHM 9327. So this is for Winter Blessings, Plum Street Sampler. Sally, send me an email at jenstitchr@gmail.com with your mailing information so I can send you this out. And okay, so one thing down, a couple more things to go. And I have a lot of curated cross-stitch collection because it was Nashville days. I spent too much, and then I've done some starts, which I'm gonna do a short video separate from this one to show the start process. Okay, so the last week of February and the first week of March, I worked on the I Spy challenges, and I had a few things to finish on that. And then I kind of was like, I really need to finish 2 things this month, and time's ticking, and so I got one thing finished, which I'm going to show after I finish the whips. Okay, I'm looking for the picture. Here it is. So I'm doing out there, which is the Seek, which is the Starship Enterprise. And gosh, I hope that's not too loud. Willow's really in a tear here. So I'm still working on this piece here, and I got a little bit more done on this end. This is the bottom where the letter Seek will go. So actually it should go, yeah, so Seek is going to go in here, and I have some threads sticking up here because I have a knot in the back that I need to take out. So a little bit of frogging to do. So that I worked on this 2 days and got some more stitched. I didn't have much time, I think, on that Tuesday because I think I might have done, or Monday or Tuesday of that week, because I did editing of my last Flosstube, so not much time got spent on this one. It is not going to come out again for a little while, but I do want to finish it. It's a small, I do want to finish it for my smalls soon, this spring sometime, maybe this summer. Okay, and then let's see, I'm trying to go in Another thing I did to work on the I Spy challenge was a Halloween cat, which is a portrait of Max and Willow and my last cat. Max is going to be the center cat. So this is Satsuma Street. The out there piece I just showed was Heartstring Samplery, because Beth Twist loves science fiction horror like I do. So, all right, I'm trying to unfold this big piece of fabric and find where I stitched. Okay, so this is at the very bottom center of the Halloween cat, and it is Max's foot and start of his leg and tail. So I filled in some of the black stitching that I had not completed. I had half cross stitches, so worked on that. This is 36 count linen by Mystic Fabric. It's Napa, which was one of her Fabric of the Month Club colors last year. It's a light purple with some lighter modeling. And, oh, by the way, Seek is being stitched on Lap and Loops Tea Earl Grey Hot, which is a next gen color, or should be. And so, all right. And the other thing I worked on for this month's I Spy challenge that I got to a point where I can put this away for a while, unless it comes up next month. I hope not. But I finally finished the house, and I got the chimneys and all of the bricks done. So that was a lot of this is because I Spy challenge. There was something January. There was something to do with Australia. This is a fox and rabbit pattern. It's on Up in the Attic, which is a fox and a rabbit, and it's Ada. 18 count Ada. And so, yeah, so I Spy challenge, it was something related to Australia. Fox and rabbit is Australian. Foxes and rabbits are the most destructive, invasive species Australia has experienced, and probably besides, yeah. So, and then on February, there was something that had A and Acorns. So, trying to think if there was something. Oh, this got pulled out one time in March for Acorn Gathering because there is a squirrel that's going to go here, and sorry, I think the cats are going crazy. The I Spy challenge for March, one of the prompts is something that you see in a park or found in a park, and squirrels are one of those things. So, so anyway, but I get to put that away. I have done enough on it, and gosh, I've got a needle sticking up here. I'm gonna fix that. Good. It was sticking right up like when you open up the bag. Not safe. All right. And Crystal Ball is something that I worked on last month for I Spy, and it came up one time. Yes, one time this month on I Spy, because the prompt was something with a cat or a hat. And this has cats, but it also has, there's an owl that is wearing a hat that is way down below the crystal ball, or at the bottom of the crystal ball, that I haven't stitched yet. So what I worked on again was I actually went down further with the crystal ball. So that was good. Get that progress done. Last month I worked on all the stem. So I was just filling in some of the black to get down to where the stem stops. So, so Fox and Rabbit, I will put a picture of the Fox and Rabbit, and I will put a picture of Crystal Ball. It's a Tiny Modernist Sal from 2022, Halloween Crystal Ball. It's being stitched on, I think 32 count or 36 count Lugana. It is cobblestone, that dark gray, which I know there's a lot of glare there. So with DMC. All right, so those are some of the I Spy challenges. I think there was a couple more things that I worked on for I Spy for this month. Let's see. Oops. Sorry, things are flying, or going to fly. No, that's the new start. Okay. So, saltwater scrapbook, which I'm really liking really like the design and the pattern, and trying to pull this out without showing anything. So Saltwater Scrapbook is a collaboration that the Blue Flower did with Lindy Stitches, and these four are what the Blue Flower did, and the larger design combines with some of what Lindy Stitches did. I don't have Lindy Stitches pattern, I just have the Blue Flower because I thought these were all cute. I love the dog and the person leaping off the pier. And so I am stitching the fox and the squirrel having ice cream. So, because that's like my friend who really loves squirrels, and then me, because I'm not really big on the squirrels. So the I Spy prompt for this month was something with stripes. This is about the only thing in my entire whip amount, whip accumulation that has stripes. I guess the thing I'm going to show you as a finish in a minute, it has stripes, but I didn't really think of it that way when I was assigning prompts for this month. And this is Bathy from Fortnite Fabrics. It's a 32 count Lugana. It is a blue gray with some really mild modeling. Okay, not gonna shove these papers in here yet, because try to balance these things between my legs, which is they're balanced on top of a wastebasket. So the other thing that I worked on this month that I'm going to work on a lot this afternoon is We Santa 23. And I don't think that there's anything that goes in the I Spy prompt challenges, but I am closest to a finish, trying to make sure all the flosses stay. I don't want the flosses to fall on the floor, because Max is right there thinking, oh, can I get up? Yes, you can jump up on the table, sweetheart. Yes, you can. You've got space. He's tall enough that he actually puts his front paws on the table and looks up like, do I have room to, she's got all this stuff on the table, do I actually have room to have my lunch? So he does. He's eating his lunch. So, all right. Okay, good. I had this long piece of white floss hanging down, but I haven't, that's because I started the needle. I didn't stitch anything yet. So, Santa is almost done. I've got the beard and hair, mustache pretty much done. There might be a few spots I need to cross over, maybe not. It's looking like I crossed all the crosses. So I got to put his face, and then he has a blue cap on top, and then I need to work on the finishing the flower right here, and then finishing the other flowers on this side. And then I will be done, and I can cross this off the WIP list, and I can put there is beading that was included in the pattern. I'm kind of so sick of this thing, I almost don't want to do the beading, but I think what I might do is I might finish all the stitches and then cross them off the, well, that won't work because I still need the project bag if I'm doing the beading. So I literally used up my last project bag this morning trying to put the other thing I'm going to start today in a project bag. And this one, I really want, this is probably going to be my next giveaway because I'm not going to stitch this again. You know, it's really cute and it's really pretty, but I did not have fun. And part of that was the linen, which I've talked about before. So, okay. All right, stay. All right, let's see. So, the other piece that I worked on, and this is not part of the I Spy prompt, it's part of the Jeanette Douglas stitching album, and I really haven't gotten much done in the 2.5 months that we've been working on this. Trying to take it out of the project bag because it's open to the pattern. So my stitching album, and I'm still working on the front cover. I'm stitching Weeks Dye Works. Oops, all my thread is just this big snarl, and that's just because I had it all like, man, if I pull this out, I'm afraid the floss is gonna come out of the needle. Because it got looped around the rest of the floss that was on the Weeks card. Okay. Grab the end of the needle. Untangle it from the loop. There's one piece of floss it got looped around in. There. Whew. Okay. So, stick it right here. All right. So, this is as far as I have got on the, I don't know how well you can, that's the back, shoot. No, that's not the back. Why is this, that's weird. I think I did a loop start and the tail, and I left a long tail and it didn't, that's right, the tail, I did a loop start on the front and right here, and the tail was long because, you know, I just left it longer and it didn't get shoved back through the hole. So I can either try and, yeah, I'll snip off the tail eventually, but it does confuse me when I'm showing this piece. So let me see. Yeah. Okay, so that's as far as I've got. It's an oval with some embellishments to the oval, some like, this is like sort of a grid in the oval. So anyway, that's basically what I'm stitching is an oval without these fleur-de-lis on it. So, and this is Weeks Dye Works Watermelon, and then this is Weeks Dye Works Confetti. So, and the red almost completely blends into the red of the fabric, but the rest of it pops out. So, all right. So I have not made much progress. Stitching on this week's Die Works is not as enjoyable as I would like, but I will muscle through because I will do that because it's so. All right, I'm looking through, getting down to the bottom. So I want to show my 2 starts and my finish. I'm looking at the clock because I really have to keep this one short because I only have so much space on my phone. So this morning I started Henny Penny, Stacy Dash Animal Crackers, and I started it on 8 count Ada, and I do a short video of me starting it because it is kind of different because it's big. And you use 6 strands of floss of DMC, and so that is in the middle, middle of this fabric, and it's at the bottom. This is the first 2 toes of the chicken's foot, starting to go up into the ankle of the chicken, and then there's another toe that goes off this way. So that's Henny Penny's left foot. That's what I did this morning. And I filmed it because it was interesting. And I have never done it on a big piece. So, all right. And this floss that I used is DMC 972. I will be doing a color conversion to DMC for this. And I've already picked out my flosses, so I will post the color conversion. And the big DMC is like shedding little bits. So every time that I work with it, when I lift it off my lap, I've got like white threads on me. All right, and then the other start that I haven't started, but I want to start today is Top Knot Stitcher, Jammin' the Jellies, and and I'm thinking about putting Gone Fishing by Ink Circles above it. So I have enough, because these are only like 3.5 by 3.5, I think, when they're on 36 count. And I have a piece of 36 count Weeks Delft Blue. And this is more of a denim color. It's not it's looking brighter on the camera than it really does in real life. And so I saw the called for color in the shop during Nashville Days, and I decided I would not get it because I knew I had several different kinds of blue that were close. And this is the closest one I've got. And this is a big enough piece. Do I have the, yeah, I don't have the, it's like a quarter, like a fat quarter, I think. So I have plenty of room to do a 3.5 and a 3.5. And then I'm gonna have them, and I have the Jammin' the Jellies down lower and the Gone Fishing up higher, and then frame that and put it in the cat bathroom. That's my plan. So the only thing I'm concerned about is that the ink circle, like the air hose and some of the coral or seaweed or whatever is that dark. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. So looking at the specialty flosses, that dark is darker than the Delft Blue, so it will look you will be able to see it, but it won't pop as well as these other colors do. So that's what I'm a little concerned about. But so this is my last empty project bag, and it's going to be my Beneath the Waves project bag. Okay, now the finish, and we can finish this video, and I won't run out of space on my phone. So I put away the this is also my other start for, oops, here comes Willow. She's gonna find the flosses. Hold on. Hi, sweetie. I don't know what she's smelling something interesting. So I'm just trying to get everything out of her way in case she decides to make a close-up. So I finished the October kitty calendar. There's April and there's October, and then I started to stitch February. So trying to see, yeah, trying to see how well that focuses. Yeah, so all right, and this is what February is going to look like. I'm going to be changing these colors, of course, because the colors are, hey, we're not going to play with those, okay? She's right here. So she was like, ooh, let me play with the floss. So anyway, the color of this cat is going to be a silvery white with white for the muzzle instead of this darker gray. The collar is going to be about the same. The ears are not going to be the same color as the collar. They're going to be white. And then these hearts are going to be, it's called Cupid, but I don't remember what dyer it is. So with all of these, I actually made a spreadsheet yesterday because I am color converting everything. There's only a few instances where I'm using the called for weeks because I'm doing completely what is in my stash. Because this was a gift from Just Keep Stitching, which I'm wearing their sweatshirt. And so, not a gift, so it was a giveaway that I won. And I got the entire 12 months of this Val Stitching Stuff kitty calendar, and with the buttons included. And so I'm doing 3 pieces on 4 different kinds of Laguna. I'm going to be finishing them as a flat fold, or having a friend of mine help me finish them as a flat fold. She actually taught that at our Sailor Mary Stitchers, and I was fully finishing the pairs in another room, so I missed her presentation, but I'm sure she'd be happy to show me. And and the border for this will not be that gray, that dark gray. It'll be Bing Cherry, which I used. Bing Cherry is what I used to write the April, which I think it was sort of a bad color choice, but oh well. So this one's going to be Bing Cherry, and then I think the word is going to be in Bing Cherry too, but it could be in, I could do the word, I could do February in the Cupid color. The Cupid color is a little bit, it's a variegated red that's a little bit orangier red than these sort of dark cranberry colored hearts. And so anyway, and then of course the little, you can't really see it, let me get it closer. These little cross-stitch specks, those will be in the Cupid color. And so, anyway, as when I this is like a giant spreadsheet of color conversions, so I'm not sure how to share that with you. So, or if you want me to put the color conversions in my descriptions when I finish. And right now I have 2 finishes, one of which I filmed before, so I didn't put the color conversions then. So if there's a way, if you'd like to have the color conversions, and if there's a way for me to share it, or if I should just do a big thing at the end, that might be kind of boring though. So let me know in the comments. And so now I'm going to move into cross stitch, Curiosity Cross Stitch Collection, and I'm hitting 30 minutes. This video is going to be long, so I spent 30 minutes just going over Nashville stuff at the end. So, but I wanted to do the cross stitch first, so if that's what you like to see, then you can move on, or if you want to see what I bought, you can stay till the bitter end. Thank you. Okay, I don't want to do this a third time. I was thought I was filming, but I wasn't. Maybe I didn't hit the button hard enough, and so I think you missed a little bit of Max like rubbing against the camera. But anyway, filming out of sequence with the other sections, but I don't plan on doing any more cross-stitch shopping before I film. Oh, maybe let's check the calendar. Let's see, check the calendar. Yeah, so Nashville Days is after my next Flosstube. So I wanted to get this filmed because I won't be shopping anymore until Nashville. So I went to the store, I took my Henny Penny pattern and we looked at it, and Clarice did the math, and she's good at the math. And so I want to do Henny Penny on 8 count Ada, and that'll make a good sized, I'm not even sure how tall it will be. One of my stitchy friends, Julie, made a lily that is basically big enough, reach back here, big enough that you can belt it into your car and in the seat. And so my Henny Penny will be like that. And oh, I hadn't realized what there's a hoop behind this Henny Penny photo. I'd always sort of not paid attention and thought maybe that was a carrying handle or something. But anyway, so when you stitch and make an overly large animal cracker on 8 count Ada, you use 6 counts of DMC and 6 strands of DMC, and so I won't be using any specialty stitches because this is going to my 7-year-old great niece, and if unfortunately it had to be washed, then I want it to be DMC. So today was the last day of February, and Floss was the February Acorns and Threads coupon book, and so I did buy some different flosses. So got some really light color cottage garden because, you know, why not? And there's not many, and there's not much of that in the shop. And then I bought some different pirate robins, and bought some more dragon fruit because I'm doing a pattern with that and I really like it. And then let's see, yeah, so just some sort of random flosses that look nice, that might be incorporated into the Jeanette Douglas My Stitching Album at some point. The only floss that I really did need was Woolly Bear Gloriana, which in my last Flosstube I showed that I had been stitching the scissor fob from the Count Be Correct set, and I used Woolly Bear instead of a green. So the Woolly Bear is not required for too many stitches in the Count Be Correct sampler, so I only had like a couple, you know, a couple of these, like that were all not much longer than that length of floss. So I really need to get more, just because I didn't want to run out when I was stitching it. So anyway, then I picked up what was in my box. And it's not really a box, it's a big manila envelope in the back. So I was fortunate enough to get on the pre-order list for the limited edition Mirabilia Lady of the Flag. I decided that I was on the list, I could have got both, but I decided Lady of the Flag. Hi, Willow. And she's right here. Hey. So, yes, okay, back up. You're good at backing up. Thank you, girl. And then I, in foresight, got the embellishment kit for that. And I now have the Constitution primitive hair fabric for that. So I'm ready to start it, although I don't think I'm gonna start it this year. I need to finish at least one big-ass project on my spreadsheet before I start another one, especially one that's this big. So the other thing that was in my manila envelope in the back was just cross stitch for autumn, because it sold out before I got my copy. And you know, some of you might be saying, why don't you just get the subscription? Well, I think, you know, I think there might be some things that I don't want to stitch. You know, if I don't want to stitch a lot of things in the magazine, why get it? And so I kind of usually look through them, unless I see something spectacular on the cover like this. And I think I didn't see the flip through. I believe Zook Stitch, Carolyn Zook did a flip through of this. Probably Helen D probably did a flip through of this. Although I haven't watched Helen D in weeks. I'm sorry. I've been busy. And so, oh, that's cute. Okay. Get it so you can't see the pattern. Isn't that funny? So, all right. So anyway, not going to do a flip through. That's not something I tend to do. Although I did do a flip through for the Jingle Ball Baubles, I think once, or maybe that was included in my digital patterns on my hard drive parade that I did. So let me put the Ada and the pattern back in my shopping bag so that they don't get soiled. So yeah, anyway, this day was a very busy day, and so I got up early, I got my coffee, I went to the next city up, I-5 from us, well, 2 cities up from I-5, and found a new dry cleaner. They don't have one in my town. We've always, I think, been too small or too working class or something. So I was kind of surprised we didn't really have a dry cleaner that I could find. So went to Acorns. Oh, went to a donut shop I like that's near Acorns and Threads because I got there before they opened. And then went to Acorns and Threads, came home an hour before our protest starts at noon, and I wrote an article for our senior development newspaper, or most of the article, and went to the protest. Really good time today. We had music and we were all like dancing and waving our signs and laughing and waving, and it was fun. And then turned around and went back to that city, 2 cities up from me, and went to town hall with my elected representative. And really interesting. I don't think I've ever gone to a live town hall. I've gone to town halls where I watched them. Maybe it was happening live, but I wasn't there, or I've seen videos of them. So anyway, made some new contacts with people, and that was good. And so anyway, I'm gonna finish my article on colon cancer awareness tomorrow, and maybe start fleshing out some other articles. And I've already got four patterns for tomorrow, because Sunday I have nothing, and I told the spouse I'm sleeping in and I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, so I've got at least 4 things on the list here, one of which I'm going to stitch tonight while we watch TV. So because it's simple and I can kind of partly stitch, mostly watch. And okay, so that's the curated cross stitch portion of this video, and depending on what I'm gonna do for the rest of the video, I will either have an end or I will have something else to show. All right, so I remembered there was one more thing to to record. It's been a long day. Basically did all those things, and I still have more stuff to do, but I'm kind of run out of steam, other than just sitting and stitching and watching TV, which is not really TV. We're gonna watch a movie on streaming. So the thing I wanted to add to this video is the prompts for I Spy for March. And again, I picked 22 different WIPs. So I guess I should back up. Last month, February, I completed 4 out of 10 prompts. I am going to stitch a few more in the coming days of March, and close out. Every prompt I completed all of the things that I'd selected for that prompt except one, and so I need to put some more time in on Purple Pansy Angel, because it's just like, it's the one that I don't like to do. It's like, it's complicated to try and do it with the kitties. And Halloween Cat is kind of one that's, sometimes you have to be in the right state of mind, and I've been kind of too tired to do stitching. And so yeah, so out of the prompts for February, I finished the prompt, something that starts with the letter E. I finished a small project, which was prompt number 2. Then prompt number 4 was a small project. I finished something with a sharp edge, which was number 9, and then the prompt number 10 was something with a maroon color. I finished that one. And so something with snow or ice, I did 1 out of the 2, touched 1 out of the 2. Object or motif that's repeated on a project, which was prompt 3, I did 8 out of the 9 projects that I touched 8 out of the 9 projects that I selected for that one. And the small project had 8. So I completed all 8 of those. Yeah, that's a lot. And then an animal that is a common pet. The only thing I didn't do on that was Halloween Cat. And the hearts, it was again Halloween Cat. Didn't get stitched on. And that one is one that I the way the linen works, I just feel like I need to be sort of on my game to stitch on it, because it's like, it's not a hard pattern. It's actually kind of an easy pattern, but just the way the mystic linen and I interact with each other, I like to kind of have a sharper brain than I've been able to bring to my stitching. Like last night, which was Friday the 27th, I basically only got maybe 10 or 12 stitches in, if that. And then I kind of ran out of time and I was too tired, and I was like, I'm going to bed kind of early. So, and then something found in a fairy tale, I didn't stitch on Purple Pansy Angel, so I got one out of the two things I had selected for that prompt. So those are the 6 prompts, or those are the 10 prompts from February and how I did. Again, I will be stitching on Halloween Cat, and I will be stitching on Purple Pansy Angel, and One Snowman's Family. I want to work on that tomorrow, so I'll be even though it'll be March 1st, I'll be finishing up February prompts. And then March prompts are, first prompt is 2 shades of green. I have 6 different things with 2 shades of green. I might have a few more whips than that have more than two shades of green, or 2 shades of green, but I looked over and over my list like multiple times, and I thought, okay, this is all I can think of, and this is all I will attempt. And the one big addition to these prompts is 2 shades of green would be my stitching album, because I'm using variegated flosses for a lot of the stitching of that. And even though I'm only stitching one floss, which is a sort of rainbow variegation, and it goes from like yellow green to green, and then into another color. That's on the front and back cover, and I will be using other greens on it over time, so that's why I put it in there. Plus I need to get some stitching in on it, because I'm stitching on Weeks Dye Works, and those variegated flosses and Weeks Dye Works, especially the dark color that I'm stitching the front and back on, is kind of difficult. So you'll be seeing that whip in this video. And so let's see, something you would see in a park. There was a bunch of whips that fit that, because I have, being Acorns and Threads, I have a bunch of different things that have squirrels in them. And roses, we have a big rose garden park in Portland, but we also have other rose gardens in the state, because roses grow really well here in Oregon. And then Liberty Pennies, that was sort of like, well, you see flowers in parks, but the Liberty Pennies also kind of emulate fireworks, I think, so I put it in there because you see fireworks in parks. Out there, what did I think was out there in a park? Oh yes, so in Oregon and Seattle, like in Eugene and Portland and Seattle, there have been presentations of Star Trek original series episodes, or musicals that are based on Trek. A director-composer that I worked with in Roseburg when I was singing in the Roseburg Concert Chorale, he's a Trekker. He's written some of this stuff, and it's good. And so I put out there because even though currently there are no productions that I know about of Star Trek in parks, it has been done in Oregon and Seattle, and probably maybe in your local communities somewhere else. Don't know. Ladybug picnic. If there's flowers, you're going to see ladybugs. And picnics, of course. I hadn't even thought of that one, but that just struck me. Kitten reflections, that's kittens looking in a koi pond. There are koi ponds in some parks. There's a wonderful Chinese park, Chinese garden park in downtown Portland. They have a ginormous koi pond with tons of baby little fishes and bigger fishes. And I don't know how they control all their fishes, because if they just let them grow, you could walk on the fish across this big pond. It's basically this walled garden, and in the center of it, almost spreading from end to end, is the koi pond. So, saltwater scrapbook, okay, that has a squirrel in it, and it's like an ice cream stand, which you see in some parks. Certainly you see it, that would be like in some of the parks that have zoos in Oregon are gonna have maybe an ice cream stand. And then Gathering of Acorns, that one from Fox and Rabbit, I think has a little squirrel in it, if I'm remembering. I have not stitched to that side of the pattern yet, but I think there is one. And then something that starts with the letter R, of course, the Rose Sal. And I put Acorn Manor in that prompt because it has roses in it too, even though I haven't stitched them yet. And then I put Little Violet, which was the student Stanley Berlin work. And that one doesn't have anything that starts with an R in it, but it does, it is a Victorian romantic piece. And this is something they saw in a lot of the Berlin work, is they saw pieces that harkened back to earlier times, but they weren't historically accurate. They were more romanticized. So in the Little Violet piece, you have a mother and a daughter sitting being serenaded by a guy with sort of like a medieval kind of guitar. And so that is, and they're wearing kind of like sort of period clothing that are not Victorian, but are not really from times past either. So, or not super accurate. So let's see, then stripes, this was a hard one. And finally I thought, wait a minute, Saltwater Scrapbook has a striped awning on the ice cream shop. So, okay, phew, because I had nothing else with stripes that I have started. The only other thing that I have in my stash with stripes on it that I could just instantly picture, everything else. Oh, there is something that I'm buying at Nashville that has stripes in it. That's one of the Beneath Waves patterns, has a striped anglerfish. But again, these are things I haven't started. The thing I have in my stash with stripes is, it's like a kind and gentle night. It's sort of a Christmas pattern where a deer and a rabbit are wearing pajamas, and pajamas I think are striped. I think they're striped. And so, and it's like with a Christmas tree and little woodland creatures. And I saw that on Flosstube. I think maybe Pam or Stephanie were stitching it and just keep stitching. And I just, over time, I saw it several times and I just sort of fell in love with it. It's from like 2023. And so I finally got it. And then I got some Petit Point gray with white polka dot fabric, because I'm like, if it's gonna have animals with pajamas, it's gonna be busy fabric. I have not started that one. I'm not planning to start that one this year, but it is one of those that I think is so adorable. But again, it's a bigger ass project, so I need to get the bigger ass projects done. I really need to focus on some of them for this year, or do less small projects and do a lot of the work on the bigger projects. The one good thing about this prompt is that I am picking larger projects to work on, like Fish and Ships, and like the Rose Sal, and Festive Forest is pretty good sized. And my stitching album is, 11 pages or, yeah, something like that. So anyway, 11 pages of cross stitch. So let's see. Number 5, this was kind of a hard one too, something related to a Girl Scout cookie flavor, because I don't have whips that relate to cooking or baking, and I have a couple that do that haven't been started and won't be started this year. But so I'm like, I finally was like, well, saltwater scrapbook would fit that too, because Girl Scout the Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie, there's actually a Girl Scout cookie ice cream flavor. And so I thought, okay, that relates to a Girl Scout cookie flavor, is this ice cream, So in my imagination, maybe the Girl Scout cookie ice cream flavor would be at the ice cream stand where the squirrel and the fox are having their ice cream. So, okay, an object that is considered lucky. And this one, I basically asked my spouse, the research librarian, to, like, what's considered lucky? So we kind of came up with a list of things, none of which I have in cross stitch, except for, well, rabbit's feet used to be a lucky thing. I used to have one when I was a kid. I kind of agree now that that's kind of gross. And so Festive Forest has a cottontail rabbit. I've stitched the hind feet. I don't think I've stitched the front feet yet. So the hind feet are the ones, I don't know, maybe it was the front feet in the rabbit's foot. I don't remember. Or rather, I don't want to remember. And so let's see. Then a cat or a hat, which I thought was a cute prompt. And of course, since the last month I did all these cat ones, I just cut and paste that one into the prompt. And then I thought, wait a minute, there's also hats. Okay, one snowman's family, all the snow people are wearing hats. Christmas narwhal, the narwhals are wearing Santa hats. And then Crystal Ball, the tiny modernist Sal from 2022, there is an owl wearing a hat and a jack-o'-lantern wearing a hat. And oh shoot, I think the flamingo pattern, that flamingo may be wearing a hat. I didn't want to add any more whips to this because I hadn't hard enough time doing 22 whips in a short month. Even though this is a longer month, I didn't want to add more to it. Something with seeds. Again, I'm not doing something with foods and plants that have seeds. The things that I have flowers on are sort of like they're stylized. And so I said gathering of acorns, because acorns, nuts are sort of like seeds. All right, something found in a poem. I kind of, you could have gone all out on this one, but I thought of fish and ships because I must down to the sea again, famous British poem, and first poem I ever had to memorize for school. I loved it, still do. And of course, Kirk quotes it in a Trek movie, so what's not to love? And then the Rose Sal, because there's lots of rose references in poetry, I think. Not the kind of poems I read, but I think, I'm sure there's stuff that Shakespeare wrote about, roses and women. And then Ladybug Picnic is kind of like a little nursery rhyme that you say about ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. So those are the 3. Then something spring with a Y on the end. I don't have anything that is about springs, but I do have Ladybug Picnic, which is a ladybug with some flowers on it, and then Count Be Correct has flowers on it, which flowers are kind of spring. They're not exclusively spring, but a lot of things bloom in the spring. So those are my whips. and I have touched kitty calendar already. I'm going to titch it again tonight and do some more on it, and then I'm going to consider it done for March, just because I don't want to, I can only count it once if it's only in one prompt. I do want to finish kitty calendar this month, and I did put some work in on Santa, the Wee Santa 23, which you're going to see in this Flosstube. And this Flosstube is about 10 days away from being finished. So I'm kind of talking about stuff I'm going to be showing you that I haven't stitched yet. So, but anyway, these are the prompts and the marching orders, and but the real marching orders is I need to finish Wee Santa 23 and I need to finish kitty calendar so I can have 2 finishes for March, which will put me back to my average one finish per month, which is sort of like my goal. And I have lots of smalls, so I can finish that goal. And you know, and I've got sort of medium-ish things that I've been putting some time in, but I really need to get the smalls. I need to get the small for Pinwhist done because I'm going to need to get that finished, and I'm not sure how much of it I can finish, so or whether I can get a friend to help me, which I think I can, but so I need to get that done so we can start putting together the supplies and the time to get it done. Of course, the Henny Penny is a Christmas present, so that needs to be finished. I've got basically 2 things that were sort of Christmas presents that haven't been, one is at the finisher and one hasn't been stitched yet, which will be stitched. That's one of the finishes for this month. And so I really want to get the smalls on my chart done so I can fill it up with other things. So because I have like about 5 things waiting to go on the current spreadsheet, and I only have 1 open slot. And I just signed up for the 1120 Crafter Retreat in Bend on May 2nd, and that may be a slot for a retreat piece. Last year it was a retreat piece. I think I know it's going to be a retreat piece again, because normally the 1120 Crafters have a retreat piece with a designer piece for May, and then they do a sit and stitch for October for their 2 retreats in the year. So yeah, I was going through all of my promotional emails and realized, hey, you know, they might be taking sign-ins and they only have 30 slots. And so I went to I saw their monthly newsletter email in my promotions, and I've had like about 2,400 promotional emails, and so I was going through deleting whole pages, and I just happened to see it at the top of one page and was like, okay, that one we save. And so I went to the website, and sure enough, they had opened the signups for the 1120 Crafters. So get there. It probably won't fill up. They have 30 seats. Last year, I think they had 17 people sign up. So, you know, show Cynthia's a band and the 1120 Crafters some love. It's a great retreat, fun times, and they will be providing lunch. So, anyway, all right. Other parts to come soon when I stitch. Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and you know, I kind of things did not work out as planned after the last curated cross stitch collection segment you just watched. So I'm filming this, my first video of March, almost a week late. And that is because I have been busy, but more it's because I wanted to finish this, and I'm still working on it, so I will finish this video in the next day or two because I'm really close to finish. But I wanted to show Nashville market what I brought home, because not that I went to Nashville, but we had Nashville days at Acorns and Threads today and tomorrow, so I got in, since I have a shop gift, whatever, coupon book, I can get in an hour before the shop officially opens and shop early, and I actually had everything pre-ordered except for some fabric and some flosses that I needed for the Henny Penny that I'm doing, which I just showed you in this video. So so I'm going to start with a fabric because that's right in front of me, and Will already found a thread on one of them that she was trying to go after. So I tried to get some videos of them like investigating the patterns of the fabric, but then they knocked over the camera, so it didn't work out. So anyway, Manny Di Donna, this is linen, it's 36 count. I got a half yard. I think that's what yeah, because it was a yard, and so got a half yard. This is called Evergreen. It's got some modeling, but it's kind of like kind of a light sage green. So thought that would go nice with a lot of things. And then this is what I had pre-ordered, which was Gothic Mauve, and I bought a whole yard, which is more than I expected to buy. And actually it looks a lot more berry colored than it did on the and it's got some modeling, but really not as much as I expected. And I expected it to be a little bit different because it looked different on Lindy Stitch's video. But this is pretty. I like it. And I got a ton of it. So this is Fiber on a Whim and 36 count linen. And then I went over in the shop, and we had a Atomic Ranch trunk show, and there was tons of fabrics that I bought like a month or two ago. And I went back in the shop, and there was still some stuff that hadn't been purchased that I believe I have Ocean Sand. This is 36 count linen. It's a small piece, 17 by 26, but this is great for doing a beach or like a summer. So I have lots of beach patterns and not as many summer. You could also, this light green with a little bit of sand model, I mean, this would be good for like a spring Easter. I do have one or two spring Easter patterns that I haven't stitched yet. I'm not a seasonal stitcher, as you know if you watched me a while. But anyway, so it was a small piece. I thought it'd be worth getting. And then this is LE 172172, which is 20 count Ada, and I have never stitched on 20 count Ada. I've stitched on 18 count Ada, and you know, the 40 count linen is too much for my eyes. I can do it on some fabrics with well, actually I'm working on a long dog that's going to be monochromatic with B5200, and that floss is bright enough that, and I'm just doing straight lines so far, so the straight lines of the border I can do with, and you know, but again, it's not something I can do like a long time, like a couple hours. I can do an hour or less, and then my eyes are complaining that it's just too much. So anyway, so I thought, well, shoot, you know, 20 count Ada, you know, I can do 28 to 36 linen without, that's per inch, and this is 20 little holes per inch. So I think I could do the 20 count Ada. And I'm really glad that it's more common now. So I can try it, and this was just pretty. It's modeled, it's kind of a, well, it's a blue violet. It looks a lot more purple on the camera than it looks in real life. It's much more blue violet. And so then I couldn't remember if I bought a piece of this before. A friend of mine bought some, and so this is a smaller piece of fox with a WK, like Guy Fawkes in British history. And so it's like a reddish orange with some orange model, a lighter orange modeling. And this is 32 count linen. So that's also a good size for me. So that's my fabric haul, two of which were the Gothic Mauve and the Evergreen were market release. And there was a lot of other fabrics that were in the shop for market, but I didn't see any. They were much more neutral or some blue, light blues, and it's just not something I needed or wanted. So, so that's the haul for fabric. Okay, let me grab the patterns here. I really tried to get everything I liked. Sure I don't have anything. Oh yes, of course I do. I got the smaller stuff. And oh, and then I've got all the thread packs. Okay, so maybe we'll do the thread packs so then I can shove them back in the bag so the cats don't get any wind of them. Candy snips are back in the shop. I left one pink and there's still all the purple that were in there. I got some Ada, oops, some Ada for the chicken, the Henny penny that I'm stitching. I haven't started it yet, but it will be a start for this month. By the end of the month, perhaps I will have a start on that. Okay, the rest is DMC for the chicken. So I'm gonna leave that in there. And there's also some DMC because I forgot to get it at the shop and I needed to go to Michael's because I had printed some artwork. And so I have some new things to put on the living room wall. And so yeah, so I bought some more DMC that goes for the Henny penny. So the other thing I got at Michael's was the DMC cardboard bobbin. It was only a pack of 56. I got 2 of those. So Janine from Acorns and Threads was telling me that that's the cardboard bobbins she had a hard time getting. They were kind of like out of stock for a while, so they showed up in Michael's today. They weren't there last month when I went to put my my framing orders in. So anyway, you know, I like to bobbinate my DMC. I have not bobbinated any of my other loose flosses because it's just time consuming to do that, but I like that for the DMC. So anyway, ooh, so this will be, let me do this last after I get all this other floss packs. So I got the Classic Colorworks. This is Ponderosa Pine, Sedona, Lakeside, and Gold Rush. So, and that's the picture, that's the floss. And I got a thread pack which is Valdani silks to go with the Blue Flowers cornflower chorus. And I am like deathly allergic to coneflowers, so they will never be in my yard. but I really like this pattern. I really love the colors, the goldfinch, and it looks like a tanager. The tanager and the goldfinch are things that show up in Oregon. Cardinals, that's east of the Rockies, I think, because I've never seen one in the wild. Although I've not spent much time on the East Coast in the wild, which I'd like to rectify that. And I've never been back there during the Christmas. I was in Connecticut like around when winter started, but didn't see anything. And I've been I was up at the Finger Lakes for Thanksgiving once, didn't see any birds. And then I was in New York City in a snowy, like a post-snow February, and didn't see any birds in the Bronx. So anyway, so that's a pattern, blue flower, and the thread pack. All right, put this stuff in the bag because, well, okay, there you go, Betty. There you go, my sweetheart. The bag was on her chair for looking out the window, so it's no longer there, and she's probably like, but I still want to look at those. I still want to look at your cross stitch stuff. So I got 2 thread packs for the Beneath the Waves. I hope I have enough, because I've heard that one of these packs can go for 10, but then I heard no, one of the packs can go for 5 patterns. So I sort of planned with, well, helped Riley with their order. I'd already made my order, so they were looking to not buy everything, but maybe swap with a friend, and I said I'd be happy to swap with a friend. So, and then the other friends in that stitchy group, which is sort of our gender non-conforming stitchy group, we met and stitched in the Beaverton Library last Sunday, and so Mary Lynn had printed out like all of the Beneath the Waves patterns, and then we basically had a sheet, and we initialed which ones we bought, and I had the most initials on the sheet, but that was so we could maybe swap things or know people to borrow stuff from, because as much as I want to start this right now, and I have fabric. I don't need the called for fabric. I have the blue like this in my stash. Darn it. I really want to start this one. So maybe, and it's only 60 by 60. So this one, I was gonna start Henny Penny as, actually Henny Penny's already on my spreadsheet, so I don't need any spaces. But I was gonna start a Nashville 23 pattern that's a little larger. That was the one I was gonna start when I finish. I have one empty space, and I was trying to keep it open because I'm gonna need it for the pattern for the 11/20 Crafter Retreat in Bend in May. But I'm gonna finish 2 or 3 things before May. I want to finish 2 things this month, finish one more thing next month, which is April, and I was actually gonna take to the beach retreat. I was gonna take things that are close to finishes so I could have finishes at the retreat, because then I get to ring the bell and it's really cute. And so anyway, I better put this down before I look at anything else. I want to finish this. So I got Walk in the Woods, which is kind of browns, a little bit of sort of green and brown. That's a green. So anyway, it's Whispering Willow, which is brownish green, Moral Mushroom, which is a variegated brown and white, Timber, which is a brown, which probably is this one. These are all variegated. And then Nightshade is a black, and I think it's this one. Sorry, yeah. And then Treetops is a dark green, which I can see at the very bottom, but it's kind of behind stuff. It's sort of back in that corner. So anyway, I picked some of these up as skeins in the shop, and then realized, oh, wait a minute, I pre-ordered this. So not that I have anything special I'm going to use them in. I just, you know, I had picked up a bunch of limited edition color fast flosses and things over the years 23, 24, 25, and now 26 for Nashville. And I'm using them instead of the called for weeks. I'm using what I have in stash for this, and I'm using it for the flamingos, that zombie flamingo pattern that I'm working on. And I'm really, really liking using what I have in stash that is like amazing colors that fit the patterns that I've picked for them. So, Let Freedom Ring is a week's. Catmint, another week's. Battle Axe, which is sort of a greenish gray. And make sure, here's another one. This is a nice kind of, this is, turmeric, which it looks like turmeric. That's all of the weeks that I got that were new colors. And let's see, this is Shipwreck, which is greenish, grayish, sort of khaki. This is a color fast cotton floss. And then this is Kelp, which is another color fast floss. So these are the kinds of things that I'm using for the two patterns that I talked about. Is the color fast Gentle Arts, and then I picked up some silks. Gloriana, this is Wisteria, beautiful. This is Gloriana, Vintage Teal, Vintage Teal Light. So, like that. And then this is Outer Space. It's Gloriana too. It's actually, when you look at it from afar, it looks black, but it's really kind of a midnight blue with a very subtle variegation. And then Gloriana Honeycomb, which it kind of is. So, all right, so that's the flosses that I got. Oh, and then let's do an unbagging. This is a limited edition mystery thread pack from Gentle Arts. So, and it says, "Thank you for your purchase" on the back. Before I'm going to tear this sticker that says that, or I guess I don't need to tear it. All right. So, limited edition, this is, okay, these don't have a name on them. So this is a silvery, something's beeping, I don't know what that is. Sounded like it was in the house, but it could be outside, but because I don't know what in our house would beep like that. So this is a silvery, sort of silvery gray. This is a brown. This is a black with kind of a gray brown variegation in it. And this is a sort of a silvery gray with some pink in it. And then this is a green that's green with some kind of goldish, greenish gold. So I have some greenish gold, like from an older color. I don't know if they still make it, but I have a couple different golds that I got back in 2003, 2004. So, that's when I did my gentle art stash, was back then. So cool. All right, those are all 5-yard skeins from the limited edition threads, I guess over the years. Just trying to make sure Willow, I just saw her peek out from the table. I want to make sure she doesn't crawl in this bag. It's between my legs. All right, so you saw Jam and the Jellies. This is Top Knot Stitcher. My friend Riley was going to buy a bunch of Top Knot Stitcher's patterns, so this is the only one that I had pre-ordered. So Blue Flower, Trunk Town Spring. It's a drum, and I have a wooden piece that might be a drum, and anyway, you can't see all the little animals and birds on this, but it was so cute. I think at one point this, I don't know if this is a Fisher, which is kind of a weasel family member in the Pacific Northwest, and it might be. She'll probably say when I open up the pattern. But anyway, it shows like this little baby sticking out there. It looks like a wreath, but it's a little baby with the paws. So, all right, and then this is Deep Sea Dumbo by the Stitch Crypt. Let me see if I can put these somewhat in order, because I have a larger pattern from Stitch Crypt. And where is it? Oh, this one. I love the snails. Oh, that's a lot of pages. Okay, so this is Snail Mail, and I have bought several of Stitch Crypt snails, and I've also bought a snail from another designer that I don't recall at the moment. And I've thought about doing all the snails on one big piece of fabric, but that probably would be way too big of a fabric to do it. But I'd like to do some kind of collages of the different snails, especially the Halloween and the Christmas snails. So let's get back to the, save that one for the last. All right, so make sure, yeah. So hello from Liz Matthews. I finally found one of her patterns I really like, and this is, they did have this market release color in the shop. I did not buy it because I have like an Atomic Ranch that's very close to this shade, and so the top half, it looks like you stitch on a neutral, and the bottom half you stitch on a blue. And I have neutrals and blues, so not a problem with my stash. And of course, I love ocean patterns. This is 134 by 185 high. It's not full coverage, so that's a plus. All right, and then Jetic Stitch, another Beneath the Waves anemone. I really liked the coral that is not exactly like Quaker, but it reminded me of Quaker, so I liked it for that design angle. And then Ink Circles, got the Whale Shark and Gone Fishing. So that's the other cat. Damn, I want to do those cats. All right, and then Blueberry Ridge, I'm not sure I have any other patterns by them. This is Sea Turtle Cove. I really like that one. And then I got Boomerang Stitches. This is Glow Below, an anglerfish. And then Fruit Dove Frenzy. That's just so pretty. Look at the design on that. It's just, yeah. I just, you know, I love what she does. So, and she's really nice person. And, because I got to meet her at Penwis and talk with her. So then, Patriotic Box, and I forgot to look at the shop for a box, which is okay because I spent a lot more this year than I spent last year. And last year was sort of a record in terms of how much I spent at Nashville days, and I didn't want to break my record. I really didn't, but I did. And so, all right, so Patriotic Box, Jeanette Douglas. And there's other box patterns out there, so I thought, well, if I do this Patriotic Box and I have the box and I can finish the box, finish the cross stitches, so I can swap other things out if I want to do seasonal things. All right. Oh, and then I had Jet X Stitch. Of course, I had to get it's Pansy Picnic because I love pansies. And this is kind of like almost like a mattress finish, looks like. So, anyway, it is 71 by 71. And then Sambry Stitches had another Bigfoot. Whoop, there it is. So, and my sister actually has a metal Bigfoot like this. I don't think, yeah, it might be about that size that I bought for her. Because she loves her Bigfoot. And the funny thing is that when we were hunting, when I was growing up in the woods with my dad, he always said, if we need to connect with each other, like he's off in this area of the woods, I'm off in that area of the woods staying relatively put, but he's like doing a stalk on some deer, and he would say he's gonna whoop, something like that, because there's nothing in the woods that makes that sound, but it's not weird enough that animals will necessarily be startled unless you're right next to them in the bushes when you say that. So, but it was a way for us to keep track of each other if we were on different ridges. So, anyway, so this pattern, whoop, there it is, has a lot of nostalgic, feelings of affection for things from my childhood. So, and it's Bigfoot. What's not to love? So, Hip Kitties from Satsuma Street. I am gonna do the chicken thing that she came out first. There was a second chicken thing I think she did this last year that I'm not doing, but these are cats, okay? this is for me. And then finally, this is something, it was funny because I felt like Lindy Stitches, it just seemed like her videos didn't come out soon enough, and so I was getting information about Nashville releases from other sources, although I did watch at least 3 of her videos, or I kind of would watch the video, but then I would look at her website. But this is the Permuta Hair Cat Queen of the Needles. That is Willow, minus the tail. And I might change the colors of the flosses and shorten the tail and make it into Willow, because she She loves her cross stitch. It's the weirdest thing. So that's everything I got at Nashville, and it's a lot, and it cost a lot. And, you know, if you want to hold back, please do. And I'm looking at this going, yeah, I'm not going to spend anything. I'm not going to spend any more cross stitch shopping until maybe the end of April or maybe May, because I think I've spent, you know, like 2 or 3 months worth of cross stitch money. Let's see, I've got, and I still have, no, that's in June. Pinwis has 2 deposits. I think one's in June and one's in July, or maybe May and July. I know there's one in July because Pinwis is actually at the end of August, beginning of September. It's Memorial Day weekend. That's going to be the beginning of September, but they need to get their last deposit, and they give you certain days. Like, okay, it's due now. You've got like a week or less to pay it. So, you know, I'm trying to, and it's spaced out enough. I mean, but yeah, I need to shop from Stash for a while, which is fine. I have tons of stuff in Stash. So that is the Nashville haul, and I still have, let's see, just under an hour to pack up all my cross stitch and eat my lunch and then go back to work because I took this morning off to go get cross stitch stuff and go pick up that artwork at Michael's. So, all right, thank you, and I will have shown you by this point. I will have shown you my whips, my finish, my haul from earlier in the month. Hey, Willow. And she's right here. Oh, my good girl. My sweetie. She's still looking kind of mournfully like, you put all the cross stitch away. So, anyway, she's jumping up, but she's going for the food. Okay. So, yeah, so at the very beginning of this video, you will have seen the whips, you'll have seen the finishes, you've seen the curated cross stitch collection, and this should be the last part, not the last thing I'm gonna film, but it will be the last part of this video. So I will see you again. Let's see, the 4th week of March is when I will film, and I will film on time unless I have a problem. You know, I have been fighting sinuses or a cold or something, so yeah, so I feel like I sound scratchy, but anyway, so I think that's it, and it will be a little bit less than 2 weeks before the next video. Oh, I will put in the giveaway results. I have a couple people I need to decide who you know, randomly who gets it from the comments, and I will be doing that in the next few hours, or like maybe tonight, so or tomorrow, and then I will be stitching together all the different videos that I have. And hey, sorry, she had some food and then she drooled on the cross stitch patterns. So hey, Max, you got to eat because she ate. Okay, so they're right there. I gotta get the stuff out of the way. Here's Willow. Yes, I'm sorry. We can look at the patterns later. Okay? We can look at the patterns later. Okay. All right, so Willow and Max say goodbye. And, I will see you in another 10 days or so before I before I film another video, maybe a little longer than 10 days. So happy Nashville. I hate spring, so I guess I could say happy spring, although with my allergies, I don't like spring. And so anyway, see you next time.